Hello, this is week number 20 for distance learning for sixth grade music. And today we're going to learn about a composer that we talked about in first grade a long time ago. But we didn't talk too much about it. It was a little tiny first grade version of learning about a composer. And this composer's name is John Philip Sousa. He's an American composer. And we are going to talk about him today. And then there's going to be a worksheet to complete about with John Philip Sousa. John Philip Sousa is an American composer. A lot of times when you think of composers, you think of Bach or Beethoven or Mozart or Handel, George Friedrich Handel, and things like that. Those are all European guys that were writing music 200, 300 years ago. But John Philip Sousa is an American guy who he died maybe in 1940, 1950. So he was an American composer in the 1900s. So it wasn't that long ago. Remember, America didn't have any composers back 200, 300 years ago because we weren't even a country back then. We were just a piece of land, and Native Americans lived here, and nobody had turned it into an official country back then. So when you see some of these older composers, there seems to be a lot more European composers because their country is older. We're kind of like a baby country when it's compared to countries in Europe. Excuse me. Now, John Philip Sousa was born in Washington, D.C., and his dad had a very unusual job. He was part of the Marine Corps, so he was in the military. But his dad's job in the military was to be part of the Marine Corps band. He played trombone. And so instead of going and fighting in a war, if you were in the military in the Marine Corps, what they would do is they would live in Washington, D.C., and their job was to be in the band that worked at the White House for the president. And so anytime that there was something important going on, and if you remember maybe 2 weeks ago, last week, I showed you a video about the inauguration and how the Marine Corps band was part of that very big celebration day of the big party when they were voting, or not voting in, but when they were swearing in President Biden. And so that was one of their jobs. And a typical day, if there's somebody special coming to the White House, maybe like the president of a country in Africa, or the king of Norway, or maybe the queen of England, or somebody from China, and they were guests of the president, their job, they would have this great big fancy banquet at night. And what they would do for entertainment is the members of the Marine Corps marching band would come, and they would be the entertainment, and they would play for their guests at the White House. And we know that our national anthem is the Star Spangled Banner. Well, there is a national anthem probably for every country in the world. It's kind of like their song for their country. And so on special political days and stuff like that, you hear that often. We sing our national anthem before sporting events and things like that. So we sing it a lot. It doesn't have to be in Washington, D.C. We sing it wherever we are before football games and basketball games and hockey games, or when you're watching them on TV. And John Philip Sousa, his dad, was part of this band. He played trombone. And John Philip Sousa loved to hang around the band. And he was kind of a stinker, was kind of getting in trouble when he was maybe 10, 11, 12 years old. And he was a very, very good musician. And so he would play different things with adult bands and stuff. He would play like in nightclubs and stuff because he was that good. And he would schedule them. He was actually like the band leader of groups like that. But he heard that there was a circus coming through town, and he thought it might be interested. Someone in the circus invited him to come and travel with them and play in the band in the circus. And his dad heard about that and was really, really worried. So knowing that John Philip Sousa enjoyed hanging out with the Marine Corps band at the White House, he talked to the band director, the commandant, and said, "Could you please, we kind of have a family emergency. I've heard that my son, John, is thinking about running away and joining the circus, and we don't want him to. We want him to stay here. Could you please do me a favor and ask him to be the apprentice or the assistant to the Marine Corps band? He loves hanging out there, and it would be really fun. And it might keep him in town, and he won't run away and join the circus if he gets a job like that." And so John Philip Sousa didn't realize it, but his dad kind of arranged that job. So the commandant of the Marine Corps band asked him if he could be his apprentice or his assistant, and he loved that. And so he hung around, and he got to work as kind of the errand boy or the handyman or the grunt guy doing all the little errands and stuff for the Marine Corps band. When he grew up later, he did some other jobs before that, but he was traveling around the country doing some music work, and his dad sent him a telegram that said, "Emergency. The position of the band director of the Marine Corps at the White House is open. Come back soon and you can have that job." And so he hurried back, and he got to have the job that he watched people doing when he was growing up. His dad was part of the band, and this time he got to be the band director. So when he grew up, he spent many, many years at the White House as the director of the Marine Corps band. And he remembers when he was a little kid, and everybody in the Marine Corps band, when they performed, they had big fancy uniforms, and they would have white gloves, and they would march down the streets for parades and stuff. And when John Philip Sousa was a little kid, he'd love to march right next to him and pretend like he was in the band with him. And he thought that was pretty cool when he was a little kid. So when he became the director of the band, he remembered that, and he ordered a whole bunch of white gloves, and he would welcome little kids to march next to them in the parade, and he would hand them a little pair of white gloves, just like the band members would have, and so they could have kind of like a souvenir. He also started a new tradition where he would have Sunday afternoon concerts on the lawn of the White House, where families were invited to bring a picnic basket and bring a blanket or lawn chairs and just goof around and just have some family time on the White House lawn, while the Marine Corps band was up on the front porch of the White House playing music. And you can't do that today. They have fences around the White House, so you can't get really close to it. But back then you could. And again, he would pass out little white gloves for the kids so they could have a lot of fun and enjoy band music. Now, his music was very peppy, and they called him the March King because most of the songs that he would sing, or he would write, would be performed as marches, and they would be used in parades, and they would be 1, 2, 3, 4. They were peppy, and they were in a major key, and they actually were the tempo of your human heart. And so it's really hard when people would listen to a lot. If you were at a parade today, maybe you would see a band go by, and maybe they would be playing a song by John Philip Sousa, and he would purposely make the songs with the tempo or the speed of marching 1, 2, 3, 4, hop, 2, 3, 4, and that would be the speed of your heart. And so it would be really easy if you could find your heartbeat and kind of listen to a John Philip Sousa march and compare. And it's hard not to tap your toe. It was fun. It was peppy. And people would they just made you want to clap or want you to tap your toe right along with them. And there was one song in particular that he wrote that turned into a very, very important song. And this song is called Stars and Stripes Forever. And if you remember that little video about the inaugural day for President Biden a few weeks ago, the man talked about it. That man is spoke is the conductor of the Marine Corps band at the White House today. But just like what John Philip Sousa used to do, but he didn't do it. John Philip Sousa wasn't there when President Biden was being inaugurated. He has already died. But the Marine Corps band, that's another special thing. If I said that, I mentioned that they perform concerts for special guests at the White House. Well, a very, very special day is anytime every 4 years when there's a brand new president sworn in, no matter who you voted for, no matter who got the job, the Marine Corps people are a big part of that day. And you saw that in that video. Now, one of the songs that he wrote is called Stars and Stripes Forever. And that song is about the American flag, the stars on the flag and the stripes on the flag. And he wrote that song while he was touring Europe, and he'd been on this tour for music for a long time and was kind of homesick. And back then they didn't have airplanes. They would have to take a ship back and forth from Europe to America. And he had just gotten a telegram that said his very good friend had died. And he was a little homesick, and he'd been gone for a long time. He missed America. He missed coming back. He wanted to get home as soon as he could because his friend had died. And while he was on the ship, he wrote the song Stars and Stripes Forever because he was kind of homesick and wanted to get home to America. And so that's the meaning of the song Stars and Stripes Forever. We're going to play it in just a minute. But I also want to tell you, he made a very concerted effort to collect the national anthems from every country of people that were coming to visit the White House. So when someone was a guest at the White House and they would come, maybe it was the Queen of England, they would make sure that they played the national anthem for England. And so he had this collection with all this band music ready and waiting for anybody that would come to the White House. As kind of a courtesy and out of respect for the people that were visiting, they would make sure that they played their national anthem, not just our national anthem. So I want to play quickly for you. I think you'll recognize this song. This is the Stars and Stripes Forever. This is the Marine Corps Band playing today. But this is the song that John Philip Sousa wrote on the ship coming back from Europe. And it's about the flag, the stars of the flag and the stripes of the flag. Listen carefully. Stars and Stripes Forever. Okay, there's a longer section. There's even a little bit more to that video, but that's what I'm going to show you for today. I think you would recognize it, and I think I played it for you. I played it for you, or the maybe last week with the inauguration thing. If you remember, the commandant who was talking about at the presidential inauguration 2 weeks ago, he said the very last thing they do at the end of the ceremony where he's sworn in is it's a tradition to always play John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. So they would have played that 2 weeks ago on the 19th, when it was the day that President Biden was sworn in. Now, your assignment for this week is look up in the classroom section, and there's going to be a copy made for you. This is a bio about John Philip Sousa. We've talked about a lot of it already, but this is a bio. On the second part of the page is one of these coded worksheets where you've done before, where you need to maybe the first question or whatever, you need to maybe flip over and find the answer, and then see if it fits on the blanks right here. The top half of the page, these are all answers from the bio. The bottom half of the page right here this is a brand new code of something that's not on that page. So what you do is you do this top page first. And again, if you see these letters, these numbers under here, for example, if you go on the other page and you see that the answer to this question starts with an A and there's a number 3 under the A, then all of the number 3s on this page are going to be A's. So it's kind of like a secret code. So once you find out what one of those letters are, you match up all of the blanks that have the very same number under it. If a T is on top of number 11, then all of the 11s on this page are going to be T's. So that helps you fill in the rest of the page. Because this stuff down here you can only do this part after you figured out what these codes are up here. So that's the assignment. There's going to be a copy for each of you, and you'll be able to write into it. If for some reason it doesn't let you write it, type it in there. I think it should. But if for some reason it doesn't let you, then just print out a copy and make a paper copy and just send me a picture back. That would be an assignment that we'll be doing the next Monday. So that's it for this week, a lesson on John Philip Sousa, the American composer. And make sure that this is your assignment that needs to be turned in by the next Monday. Have a great week. Bye.